Homebuyer remorse is a real thing and unfortunately is still running rampant nowadays. I have heard from clients and viewers of this channel recently claiming that they hate their house, they feel they made a big mistake, and now they want to turn around and sell it. And these are people who bought homes like literally within the last 6 months. So what if you just bought a home and you think it's the worst mistake you ever made? Look, this is a common feeling. Do not feel like you got to go put the for sale sign out in the front yard just yet. Let's talk about it. I'm going to share with you the common things that people feel after they move into a house. We're going to also talk about some things that could exacerbate those thoughts and feelings to make you feel like I got to get out of this house. So of course, I'm going to give you tips on how to overcome those feelings. And also, if you are in a situation where you feel like you absolutely have to sell the house, we're going to talk about that too. Let's get started. Okay, you all know this market's been insane, right? We have the highest home prices, we have high mortgage rates. So it would be pretty common for new homeowners to feel like this dread after they bought a house, saying, what the heck did I just do? Did I just make a big mistake? But what is it that's driving new homeowners to feel this way? Well, they start to notice things about the house after they move in, right? Once you move in, the house is empty. The previous owner's items are all out of the house. Now you're moving in and you start to notice things about the home. And that starts to play with your head a little bit. And you start thinking, oh my God, what's wrong? Are there problems here? Another thing that people freak out about after they move in is they feel like they paid too much for the house. And listen, I understand this one. This is very, very common. You know, they feel like they rush into it, especially in these hotter markets where there's still bidding wars taking place. They're overbidding on homes. They feel like they paid too much. This is another thing that rattles their brains and says, you're going to make them question, what the heck did they just do? Another thing people freak out about is that they start to regret the neighborhood. They didn't do enough research. They felt the pressure that they had to buy the house, and they just bought the house and didn't really do their research on the location and the neighborhood. So I want to talk about the things that exacerbate these feelings, because I guarantee you're going to do this. You're going to do these things, and just hear me out. Now, the first thing a lot of people do is they continue scrolling on Zillow to see what other homes came up on the market after they bought their house. And they start to have massive regrets because they see a house that they like better. Or they start thinking, oh my God, I paid so much for this house and this house is like 50,000 less and it's just as nice. They drive themselves absolutely insane because they continue to scroll Zillow. Another thing is that they do is they'll see the Zestimate of the house that they just bought. You've heard me say this before. You know I'm not a fan of Zestimates. Zestimates are absolutely useless. They are. So people will go on to Zillow and look at their Zestimate and say, oh my God, my Zestimate's down by like $20,000 or $50,000. I have to remind you, this is not the stock market. Okay, when you buy real estate, it's a long-term investment. It's going to appreciate over time. Looking at the Zestimates like you're looking at the stock market, big no-no. Do not do that. Do not do that at all. But this is a common thing that new homeowners do that exacerbates that problem, that exacerbates that regret and makes them say, why the heck did I buy this? Just get off Zillow. Get off. Just trust me on this one. Get off Zillow. Another thing that new homeowners do a lot is they nitpick the house. They look at every little thing that's wrong with the house. Say they find like a small water stain in the ceiling or on a wall, or they find a crack in the ceiling that was overlooked, or they didn't notice it when they're previewing the home or during the inspection. I hear this a lot, and they start to think, oh my God, is this a sign of a bigger problem? Is there something we missed? Okay, with this situation, what I would do, I just recommended this to a viewer recently, bring in a licensed professional, bring in a contractor, a plumber, whatever issue you think you're having with the house, hire somebody for peace of mind. Have them come in and evaluate the problem to see exactly what it is, just to give you peace of mind. Because I can almost guarantee you, those little things that you're noticing, they're probably not a big deal. Not saying they're not, they could be. It could be a sign of something bigger. But to give you peace of mind, that's what I would be doing. But stop nitpicking the house. Here's an example. You've heard me talk about it before. When we bought our house in New Jersey, I hated my kitchen. Hated it. Did I mention I hated it? I hated it.
What? Why?
Why? The first house that we ever bought, we renovated the kitchen and just loved everything about it. So now here we moved to a new house and I'm in a kitchen that I can't stand. But what did I do to overcome that? I mean, I had to stop nitpicking it. I kept criticizing it, nitpicking it. And it's like, oh my God, look at these cabinets. I hate this. I mean, listen, the kitchen's not bad. It's not. I mean, I have the granite countertops. The cabinets are dated. Okay, so be it. But what did I end up doing? I had to remind myself, why did I buy this house? What did I love about this house? What did I love? The neighborhood, the location, the town. Okay. And that's what I had to keep reminding myself. And this is what you need to be doing too. Stop focusing on the negative things in the house, the little things that you don't like. Because listen, you're not going to get everything you want in your dream home. It's not possible. People do have to sacrifice certain things, like, they have to get a 1-car garage versus a 2-car garage. They'll only have 2 bathrooms, not have 3 bathrooms. But you got to remind yourself, what made you buy that house? Was it the backyard? Is there a beautiful view from the kitchen overlooking the backyard? And if you have a pool, like, is there a beautiful view from, say, the primary bedroom, right? You're on the 2nd floor and you have a beautiful view of, say, whatever, of a park or trees, what have you. Remind yourself what made you fall in love with the house. And for me, again, I remind myself, it was this neighborhood, it was this town. And as we became more involved in our town, in our schools, it made me appreciate buying this house that much more, because that was the reason why we moved to this area, because of those number one reasons, right? I wanted a good school district, I wanted a great community and a great neighborhood. And that was it. So over time, I got over the kitchen. So remind yourself, what made you buy the house? What made you fall in love with it? Another common thing that will exacerbate your regret is other people's opinions. Now, I am speaking to millennials right now because I have a lot of millennial clients. Not every one of them, but a lot of them have parents with opinions, or they have a sibling with an opinion, or friends or other family members that have an opinion about the house that they just bought. And I will tell you, coming as a parent, as a mom, listen, I offer my advice, I make suggestions, but I do my best to stay out of my kids' situations. And unless I feel like they're making a huge mistake, of course, I'm going to say something. But when parents come in and they say, you're spending how much on this house? Oh my God, in 1980, I spent $75,000 on my house. Don't listen to that. Do not let that mess with your head. It was a much different time in the 80s when your parents bought their first homes. Completely different situation. The market is the market. So do not feel bad about the fact that they paid $75,000 for their house. The market is what it is today. And you should be proud of the fact that you were able to afford to spend, what have you, $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 on a house, that you were able to save the money, you have the income, you qualified for a loan that enabled you to buy that home. Other people's opinions, get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. And I will tell you also, they may come across some jealous family members too. I had that the first house we bought. I had family members that made negative comments about my house. Why? Because they were envious. So you're going to come across that too. So be very careful with that. And do not let that stuff get into your head and make you feel like I overpaid, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Just no, don't do that. Hey, just wanted to remind you that if you are in the market, whether you're buying or selling a home and you need to be connected to a real estate agent, feel free to click that link down below, fill out the forms, and I will get back to you and get you connected to a real estate agent as soon as possible. Okay, so what if you really feel like I made a huge mistake, there's problems with this house, I don't want to deal with this, I need to get out of here. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where you discover there was issues with the house and you feel that the seller did not disclose that, yes, you can sue, but you have to check the laws in your state to see, number one, what the statute of limitations are, okay? Number two, in some states, they actually put provisions in the purchase contract which state that if there's an issue post-sale, that the buyer and seller must mediate before pursuing any lawsuit. So what I'm telling you is, if you do find that there's an issue with the house and you feel that seller didn't disclose it, you can absolutely go back to them and try to have a conversation and say, hey, we noticed, the roof's been leaking, or we noticed this, there's something wrong with the fireplace, with the chimney, what have you, and that wasn't disclosed. That would be your first step. Now, if you can't come to a solution and the seller's still saying to you, that was never an issue when we owned the home, this is your problem now, you should absolutely be speaking with a lawyer to see what your recourse is. Now, but I will be honest with you, think about the cost of bringing on an attorney versus what it would cost to make the repair yourself, because you could end up spending way too much money on legal fees to go after something that could be like minimal. Okay. Or they may find that the seller really didn't know about it and there was no issue when they were living there. And it may be hard to prove that that seller did not disclose something. Is it possible that the seller didn't know about an issue that was going on with the house and that's why it wasn't disclosed? They truly didn't know. It's possible. It's possible, but you got to prove it. So if you're going to go this direction where you're going to be pursuing a lawsuit, just do the math, because you could end up spending more money in legal fees than it would cost you just to say, make the repair yourself. Okay. I'm just putting that out there again, but this isn't legal advice. I am not a lawyer. Please talk to a local real estate attorney that specializes in real estate disclosures. Now, if you feel like this is it, I'm done, I hate this house, I want to sell it, okay, that's fine. You can absolutely do that. But here is some things you need to think about. Number one, what's the housing market doing? The housing market can change pretty quickly. So if you bought your house 6 months ago and you're saying now I want to sell it, you want to see what the activity is like right now, because there are a lot of markets in this country right now that are softening. Home values are declining. If you find that the values have declined, be prepared, you're going to have a loss. It is what it is. The other thing you got to think about is the expense of selling the house. If you choose to hire a real estate agent, now you have to pay commission to that real estate agent. You're going to be deducting that off your profit. Then you got to think about taxes, right? In some states, like here in New Jersey, we have to pay real estate transfer tax on the sale, which is about 1% of the purchase price. Do you see where I'm going with this? It could be really expensive for you to turn around and sell it right now. Another thing you have to think about is your mortgage. Some loans will have prepayment penalties, meaning that if you pay off your mortgage before a certain period of time, say before 3 to 5 years, you could be paying a penalty. Go back and read the fine print on your loan. Talk to your lender, talk to the bank, wherever you got your mortgage from, to see if there's a prepayment penalty. So that's another added cost if there's a penalty that's going to be associated with you paying off that mortgage. So basically what I'm here to tell you is what you're feeling after you buy a home. This is completely normal. You're going to feel that remorse and that regret, but it does pass over time. It does. Just focus on the positive things on the home. Start making it your own. Paint some rooms, get some furniture, decorate it to your style. Make it your own. It will pass over time. But if you feel like you can't do it, you have to sell it. Talk to a trusted real estate agent in that market to see what it can sell for, and do the math, do all the calculations, and be prepared. You may be taking a loss if you're in one of those markets that's currently on a decline. And if you're also worried about what happens if you buy a house and the housing market crashes, say tomorrow, you can watch this video right here. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.